Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 15 preview between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Chiefs. This week versus the Oakland Raiders, I believe the Kansas City Chiefs defense can have some success getting pressure on Matt McGloin in that passing game. I'm going to show you how they can do that with the free safety blitz. And what we're going to do here, pre-snap shows cover 2, but really it's going to be cover 1 with man on the outsides. They trust their corners. They can man up on these Oakland wide receivers. So their job is to take these guys one-on-one. And what we're going to do, we're going to show cover 2, but as the cadence starts to wind down, we're going to shift into a cover 1. So you're going to see right here, we're going to have our outside linebacker. His job is to show run, drop back into his coverage. We're going to have the Mike backer walk up, giving the illusion that he's blitzing, that he's coming, and he's dropping back as well in his coverage. Now, up front, the 5 technique, his job, again, contain rusher here. Nose tackle job, he's going to take the weak side A-gap, crossing the face of the center, because this is where we're going to send the free safety down. I'm sorry, he's going to take the strong side A-gap. We're going to send the free safety down the weak side A-gap. We're also going to send this backer here down the B-gap. So you're getting a lot of pressure in the interior, on the interior of that offensive line. Again, cadence winds down. You're going to see the free safety creep up, snap of the ball. He's coming straight through the A-gap. We also have contained blitzer out here, and we're dropping the linebacker back in his coverage, and the strong safety is taking the middle of the field. So again, 1, 2, 3 flat defend, 3 underneath defenders, man on the outside, safety back deep to get over top of anyone that needs help. We're sending the free safety on the inside blitz. I think that's how they can put pressure on Matt McGloin in that Raiders passing game, trusting their guys on the outside to man up on those wide receivers, thus throwing off the timing of that passing attack. One of the most automatic plays in football is the stick route. And I think this week versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Oakland Raiders can get the short passing game going and getting Matt McGloin in an early passing rhythm with the wide stick. I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is your wide receiver here in the slot, and on the backside, we're running skinny posts and we're running a quick slant. So you can really hit this route, again, 7 yards of play possibly. It's a simple stick route. You're shooting the back out in the backfield, and you're also sending receiver deep down the field. So again, this is a play right here, 7 yards. Boom, turn around, drop the football off. Turn around, drop the football off. Now you have a situation where guys are going to guess. They're going to try to jump this route. You can either hit the back, going out of the backfield in the flat, or you can try to take a chance with one of the skinny posts or the streak down the field. But again, if they can run this stick route early in the game, it gets the quarterback's confidence up. It develops that passing rhythm. It moves the chains. A lot of things they can do by just developing that early rhythm for a young quarterback, and I think they can have a lot of success this week versus man coverage against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now here are some in-game adjustments that you want to watch out for in this ballgame for Kansas City. Keeping one safety on the move. 2 things I think that will accomplish. 1, help you be in better position to get extra pressure on Matt McGloin, and also put you in better position to play the run. I think they can man up on the corners versus those Raiders wide receivers, so they have the luxury of keeping that one safety on the move. And you also want to keep an eye on how Andy Reid utilizes Alex Smith's athleticism to calm that pressure of the Oakland Raiders, because they will try to send pressure in an attempt to try to shut down what the Chiefs want to do offensively. Alex Smith is an athlete. Get him on the move, and I think they can have some success. And I believe the Chiefs come into this matchup and attack the slots in the passing game. That's the nickel, dime corners, even the outside linebackers, maybe even the safety that's covering in the hole. I think that's what you're going to see these guys do very early in the ball game, throwing the football. And for the Raiders in this ballgame, you want to keep an eye on when they utilize Terrell Pryor and give him that series like they gave him last week versus the Jets, and which resulted in points. So I think they have to find ways to neutralize the pressure of Kansas City. We know Terrell Pryor struggled the last meeting, so it'll be interesting to see what adjustments they've made this time around. And you also want to keep an eye on how they utilize the tight end to combat the blitz, whether it be as an additional blocker or trying to get him involved over the middle of the field. If they can involve Michael Rivera early, I think they can have a lot of success versus this Chiefs defense. And it's imperative that they defend the outside zone, whether or not they utilize gap exchange or try to get creative in how they're going to stop the run. But if they can stop the outside zone, it's going to put the Chiefs in a lot of backed up situations. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Kansas City, openers will be key. That's both starting the game and also coming out of halftime. They have to set the tone in both halves if they want to have success versus Oakland. And you have to guard the middle of the field versus Matt McGloin. He's a guy that will take those chances down the seam and also down the hash. So you have to be able to guard the middle of the field if you want to slow down the passing game of Oakland. And I look at Marcus Cooper. He's going to have to start getting his head around and be involved in the play. He's in position, but he's not turning his head. If he can turn his head around, he would probably lead the league in interceptions. And for Oakland in this ballgame, the receivers have to win at the line of scrimmage. They have to be able to beat the press of the Kansas City Chiefs corners. If they can do this, they can get into their routes faster, and that'll just open things up for Matt McGloin throwing the football. And you have to excel in all three facets of the game. That's offense, defense, special teams. This week versus Kansas City, and this time around, this is a second meeting. The Raiders have to do things a lot better in all three aspects if they want to win. And maintaining gap discipline versus the running game of Kansas City is going to be key. You can't get out of position versus a guy like Jamal Charles. Otherwise, he can gash you for big gains on the ground. The X factor for Kansas City will be the defensive adjustments. Remember, the second time you play a football team in the same season, it's less about the matchups and more about the adjustments from the first game. So I'll look at defensive coordinator Bob Sutton and what he can do differently this time around to continue the success they had in the first meeting versus Oakland. And the X factor for the Raiders will be their third down offense. You can't win a football game if you can't stay on the field. If they can sustain drives versus Kansas City and this defense, the Raiders will win this ball game because they will be in field goal range to put points up on the board. But it all starts with these guys winning on third down versus Kansas City. I like Kansas City in this ballgame. I believe no matter the quarterback, whether it's McGloin or when they throw Terrell Pryor in the ballgame, the Chiefs still should be able to get pressure on that Raiders passing game. And I think that's going to make them one-dimensional, which would ultimately win the game for the Chiefs on the road. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Chiefs fan forums and Raider fan forums for always showing football game plan support.